Yeah, I still feel like 9,000 compared to 25,000 is just too much. Either you decrease the money that SGA gets and you make SGA work harder, or you increase the amount of FOC that happens. Like I said, there's a $18,000 holdback line here. We can maybe drop that down a little bit because we hold back a lot of money every year because they're afraid to spend it. We have $450,000. And I did the math, and it comes out to about $300,000 income every year. So honestly, they're not spending enough of the students' money. It's the students' money, and they're hoarding it. Jacob, he has the luxury of saying, well, I did this and I did this. He's resting on his laurels almost too much. We need to talk about the future. We need to talk about where we're going. With all these budget cuts, I mean, I can be a leader. I think that I can prove that if I get the chance. But he's got a year and a half to show that he can be a leader, and there's just not enough productivity coming out of SGA right now.
This question is just for Mr. Byers. You talk a lot about the budget. How well do you understand SGA's budget, and do you understand what can and can't be cut?
I do not understand exactly what can or cannot be cut. I would have to talk to administration with that. But I can understand that there are problems in it. I can understand that students only get $25,000 to go off campus to represent the university. I've talked to several student leaders in different organizations, and they've all told me that they've been denied money to go off campus and to represent Missouri Western and their organization at an off-campus event. With $450,000, there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to send students to off-campus events, conferences, and everything, especially when SGA gets to go to every conference that they would like to go to.
Good evening, everybody. This question is for Jacob. I know you just said that the FOC and the money about that, but were you the one who changed the rules or the amendment or whatever you call it to 2 people per organization?
No, I was not the person that did that.
You weren't the author?
Do you want me to elaborate on who did it? Or
You weren't the author?
No.
Okay. Well, the second question, as a student leader here on campus, I have not seen any senators. So when you said that, well, I have a diverse senator, I know that they come out. Can you clarify when they come out and come to the RSOs and come to the students before any type of thing is changed and affects the students? Because before the students see the Senate, they see the student organizations, Greek Life, RSOs. They see them before they see the Senate and before they see you and Allison and SGA. So can you elaborate how SGA actually comes to the students and give us our money back?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to elaborate, and it's an excellent question. You know, that's a challenge that we have is how do we reach out to students? And, you know, a few things that I'm proposing that we do is through social media, a lot more communication. If there's a landmark piece of legislation, let's tweet it immediately so you can find out, Leah. And I think that it's important that we recognize that we do have a diverse Senate. And I think I pointed that out. You know, our theater students, Greek life students, minority students, disability students, these people have come to us because they feel that they can make a difference in the university. And what the executive board does is they're here to make sure that opportunity is available. You know, if there's a specific example of something where you feel that Allison and I haven't been able to be receptive to going out to students, then certainly I welcome you to bring that up. But, you know, I think that we can just continue to build upon the resources that we have, and by communicating to students and going out to students, holding the forums. I've completely restructured the committees to where they're interactive, so anybody can come to a committee, not just senators. So, like you, Leah, you're not even a senator, but you come to the FOC committee. You're a part of that. So, you know, I think that that's a great opportunity for you, and I think it's a great opportunity for Missouri Western students to have a diverse FOC committee and have a diverse student government association. That's important.
Okay. I heard Jacob raised something about student affairs. I work in student affairs, specifically the Center for Multicultural Education Department, 10210. You want to stop by? So, Student Affairs does a lot of programming. We really push hard to enhance the students' program experience here on campus. My question is, I hear you talk about Greek life, going to athletic events. That's great. I think our athletics program here is great, but at the same time, SGA provides 20% allocation of student affairs, and I have yet seen one senator come to any event, MLK banquet. Jacob, I hear you talk about this when you come visit us with your VIP tours. Didn't see not one of you come. So my question is this: how are you going to go about asking for students to come to athletic events, but yet you don't support your own events that you fund?
Are you asking that, Mr. Scott?
Yeah, specifically.
Okay, well, I thank you for your question. I think it's important that student senators do get involved in a lot of different events. We do have a few mandatory events that we always do. For example, Murals for Minds is one that we do, where we go out into the community and we paint murals. I was a co-author of that entire proposal, and I think it's important that we get out into the community. But on the campus community, I think we've seen senators at all kinds of different events. I know whenever I was just a senator, I was a participant of the MLK Week and the walk where we walked around campus simulating the Million Man March. I mean, I've been a part of that stuff, and so have a lot of senators. And I think it's inaccurate for you to say that students that are leaders on campus aren't involved. But then I think we also need to recognize what is the facet of the Student Senate. The Student Senate is to be the representatives of the university and to be dealing with different things like policies and that kind of stuff. So, no, I think that, requiring people to do something is unnatural. I think there are a few things that we can require people to go to, but I think people have the ability to choose what events they go to, and I think that that's important that we don't restrict people to a managerial type of position, but rather being a leader. Because what a leader says is let's go. A manager says go, okay? And I'm a leader. I want to go with people, but I'm not going to force them to.
I have a question for Mr. Byers. Mr. Byers, you speak a lot about change and wanting to see change. One of the greatest problems I see facing new administrations as they come in is that transition time. I mean, sometimes it'll take 6 months, sometimes it'll take a year before they're fully familiarized with the administration before they get done. With your lack of experience with SGA, how do you plan to deal with that?
Like I said last night to Jacob, that's why we have a board of directors. I want to wisely choose my board of directors, people who are already involved in student government, people who know certain aspects of student government better than I do. Student government isn't, it's something that anybody can understand if they put their mind to it. So if I can understand this much, if I can understand X, then I want my board of directors to be able to understand Y and Z and A. And then as a team, like Jacob said, together we can work with the senators, send the senators to organizations that are like-minded. So if we have a really religious senator, I'd like to send them to the Navigators, and I'd like to send them to the Baptist Student Union, and I'd like them to work together to get budget proposals done and to get more events on campus, because it all boils back down to the students' money and the fact that it's not being spent and the fact that it's sitting in the bank account right now.
Okay, this is for both candidates. But as president of WAC, I'm very concerned about the relations between us and Senate and SGA. So what is your plan for us for next year?
Like I've said, I want to completely reconstruct the committee structure that's in SGA right now. I want to set up these ad hoc committees that only meet when it's necessary, but I want to have two permanent committees. One that coincides with WAC, one that like basically they'll have two bosses. They'll have the president of WAC, or the vice president of WAC, and the president of SGA. So they're going to be able to work together. They're going to go to organizations. They're going to bring organizations back in, and they're going to work with WAC to get events set up. It's no longer going to be sit back and wait for the organizations to come to us, sit back and wait for them to bring ideas to us. We're going to go out, we're going to get the ideas, we're going to be productive, we're going to make a change.
I take a sort of a managerial approach that, we should be participative, and I feel that, if I was chosen to be president, then I would be at the center, and I would definitely be like the spokes on a wheel where we work together as a team. And I feel that that's important to achieving a lot of different events on campus, is that, really focus on what the students want. And definitely, Lauren, since you are unopposed in your position to be WAC VP, I think you've done a great job this year, and I think you deserve a lot of respect for what you and Elena have done. And I think that, we're going to continue a lot of the same, but we're going to be looking to improve. Things I want to see on campus, I want to see more comedians. I want to see more late night events. I was an architect of the late night events policy. I think we can do a lot of things to improve events on campus and to get students involved and to get them out and to see that SGA is not just the policy side, which I love, but it's more about that. It's the second half. And you're going to want a genuine person who respects you as a leader and respects the students of Missouri Western to get the events out there. I think it's important, and I think that I'm a better choice than Cody Byers to be your president.
I would like to point out, you were on the board for late night events, and everything's about late night, about getting the students out at night. One group that we haven't talked about at all today is the non-traditional students. They're a huge group at Missouri Western. We need to have more events, not in the night, but in the day. We need to maybe set up a free child care for the day so they can go to this event. They can go to a free concert in the middle of the day, and they don't have to worry about their children running around. We haven't addressed non-traditional students at all, and they're an awesome part of our university. So I think that's definitely something that we need to keep in mind.
Mr. Scott will give you an opportunity for that same topic of non-traditional students.
Excellent. I appreciate the opportunity. And, non-traditional students are are a group of students that I really, relate to personally, in the sense that my father, whenever he went to school here at Missouri Western, he went to school full-time, worked third shift. And, I was just a little boy when that was going on. So I definitely recognize the challenges that a non-traditional student has, especially in family life. And I think that events aren't necessarily what they're looking for. What they're looking for is to receive a quality education and have the resources to do that. And it's not necessarily events. What non-trads are looking for is they're looking for, printer labs that meet their accessibility, that they have a support group to where things are going on, that they would have a support base to help them out. And, I'm all for improving the academic resources. I think online classes are great for non-traditional students. Let's teach them the skills that they need, if they don't already have them, to perform well in those online courses. And those are the things that we can partner on, not necessarily having a large name concert in the daytime where you would probably lose money. So,
I've actually spoken to quite a few non-traditional students during the past week. All of them like the idea of having a concert. All of them like the idea of having daytime events. We need to give money back to everybody, not just the people who aren't here at night. We literally need to give money back to everyone. The non-traditional students pay just as much as we do. We need to give them services. We need to give them events. It's not about, just because they won't like it doesn't mean that they don't get any money back. They need to get their money back. They're paying just as much as everybody else is. They deserve the same results everybody else does.
Closing comment.
Okay. Every good thing starts with a change. It doesn't matter if it's getting a new coach at a high school football team or getting a new SGA president. Everything has to start with change. If we keep on the road that we're going now, we're never going to spend the students' money. This bank account is going to soon climb over $1,000 because we're waiting for the chance when we don't have high enrollment, or we're waiting for the moment when we don't have high enrollment. And that's not right. We need to use our money on us. We need to think about the future, but it's our money. We don't need to be paying for the future students at Missouri Western. So our campaign slogan is for students, for change, and just like I said, every good thing starts with a change.
Mr. Scott.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said the time is always right to do what is right. And today you have to make a decision of what is right and wrong. What this debate boils down to is two things. It boils down to experience and vision. Mr. Myers has laid out his vision of change. Well, I ask you, what change will he bring? Will it be the change that you have seen over the last 3 years, making SGA more effective, more transparent, more interactive, bringing about more events for students and late night events? I ask you that you need to vote someone that has the experience, that already has the relationships that are built, and that is going to advocate 100% behind students, that has a personal story, that isn't just a Golden Griffon scholar, that's someone that's real, because I believe Griffons are real and that we can provide great things for students if we work together. And I appreciate your guys' time for coming out here, and I hope that I can gain your support. Please take a look at our website, and more importantly, do your civic duty, go out and vote. Thank you.